What's up, everyone? It is a gorgeous evening here in southern Ohio, and I'm going to do something I've been kind of meaning to do for a decent amount of time, and that is take you through a little tour of literally where I'm living right now. I took a while to do it because I actually just recently got a different car. My last car completely crapped out, but I was pretty much living out of it, or as you can see right here, living out of my car. I'm pretty much just going to walk you through kind of each seat of the car and walk you through the organization of what I have here, and then I'll go back here and kind of walk you through the everyday setup right here, the sleeping, the cooking, stuff like that. It's super simple. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, but it's pretty interesting. And I hope you enjoy. Maybe you can learn something. Maybe someone has some suggestions for me to make this even better, because it's a lot of fun and I think it's a pretty efficient way to live. I'll preface this by saying I'm extremely lucky that I actually have a property that I've been given permission on to be able to actually do this. I have been doing a lot of work on this property, and the property owner has let me kind of live here. I'm taking classes at OU, and I'm a few minutes out of town, out of Athens, and it's working out really well for me to be able to actually still do classes and have a place right here close to town, and frankly not have to pay a huge rent bill every month. It's a huge relief off my shoulders. I know you miss out on a lot of things that you do have with a house, but I don't necessarily think that that is super necessary because I'm still alive and things are working pretty well. Anyways, let's get to it. So I'll start in the captain's seat right here. This is obviously where you drive the vehicle at. It's very messy right now. I haven't really done like a reset, as I call them, when I go home or go to some type of house and do a hard reset for the car or reorganize everything. But right now, stuff's kind of jumbled around, but it's still organized well enough to where I know where everything is. Basically in the console right here, I'm always keeping things that are easy to reach for, things that I use quite often, not necessarily essential things to live. Some things that are very important, like a headlamp, binoculars, chargers and such that I use while I'm in the car. But I also keep external batteries, just really simple stuff that's easy to store right in the console right there, where I can kind of reach in if I'm in the car, or if I'm just right here I can reach in, I know right where it's at. That's pretty straightforward. Obviously the driver's seat. Moving back to the rear driver's side, right here is typically where I keep my cooler at, which is sitting over on the picnic table right now. I keep it out of the car when I'm here for a whole week, which is usually the time frame that I'm here, but that's where it fits when everything is packed into the car. Down here I have kind of little auxiliary boxes. Right now it has like a sleeping pad that I'm not using. It's got like Tupperware, some extra solar lights, string lights, and just some extra auxiliary stuff that I can kind of just toss in there as a very small storage container. I'm also keeping my dirty clothes hamper right here. It's super accessible. I can keep that in place because it doesn't take up a ton of space. I have it pinned right here so that it doesn't pop up super high because it takes up a lot of space when it is popped up, but I had to kind of improvise so that it's just easier to fit into a car. That's the left side. Going to the middle, I always have just this Magnum camera bag right here. It takes up a ton of space, but it's one of those things that I don't really ever want to like have to go somewhere without. It has a lot of other electronic stuff in there, computer stuff, chargers, a ton of just electronics that I keep in my camera bag. That kind of just stays stationary right in the center seat. I can pack stuff up on top of it. Right here I have this little lap desk that sometimes I will lay on top of my camera bag here. It makes it easier to pack stuff in. I also right now have a guitar in here, which is one of those things that like we'll probably end up storing somewhere else as it's getting colder. It's definitely not an essential thing to have around, but for entertainment and just keeping me happy, it is very nice to have around. But guitars take up a lot of space as well, clearly. In front of the camera bag, closer to the front, I have my towels that I kind of keep right here. I have a spare pillow right here I don't always use. I have nothing really specific at all, but like my day pack for hunting, another day pack for hunting, a waterproof bag, some extra storage containers and stuff like that that I can keep all stored away right in that spot where it's easy to grab, easy to access, and I know right where they're at as well. we'll just keep moving around. I'll swing to the trunk right now. Down here where the trunk opener is, I always keep my coffee cup there. I got some Germex and stuff like that, and then some trash as well. But I do in the trunk, which I'm showing you in a second, keep a trash bag because that's actually a very essential thing. The back is extremely packed. It's got some things that take up way too much space that I want to kind of get better at. Target, bow case, backpack, the trash bag I keep right here, and then back in here I got like boots, car stuff I got all packed back in there, fluids, stuff like that for the car, jumper cables. I have like toolboxes too, really small toolboxes that have pretty much all the small tools that you need. I've also got just some other like spare shoes back in here. I keep a couple little other miscellaneous storage containers right here, this binoculars case and my little stove case, just little storage containers that I can designate to certain things, store extra stuff in little boxes, make organization easier. And then I also sometimes will throw like recycling on top of here to separate that from the trash. And then I'm also right now keeping my packaging for some of the solar stuff that I just set up recently back here as well. But like I said, I want to get better with this trunk space. I want to eliminate the bow case and probably end up putting the bow in the back window right here, maybe throwing a blanket over it or something just so I'm not always driving around with a bow. Onto the passenger side, this is the rear passenger. I have a very unorganized pantry right now, but it has everything I need and I know where everything's at as well. So this is kind of my dry food pantry stuff. I don't keep a ton of food with me. I usually have enough food for a week and a half maybe, but I actually have stuff in here that's been in here for a while that is almost just like backup food almost. But I always keep stuff like granola for like yogurt, coffee, Cliff Bars, these like rice crackers and stuff like that, oatmeal, peanuts, small snacks like that. I've been eating actually much healthier and much less just like bad food doing this living outside type of thing, and it makes me feel a lot better doing that because I'm kind of forced on space obviously and how much food I can store and what food I can store. So it actually forces you to eat a lot better and you end up feeling a lot better, which is awesome. Down here is like a secondary box. It's kind of tough to see, but in here I have toiletries. It's once again very unorganized. Toiletries, like vitamins, dish soap, face cleaner, cotton swabs, baby wipes, and then also my cooking stuff, which right now is over on my table right there. All stores right there when I'm all packed up. That's essentially it for the food section. It's pretty straightforward, works pretty well. Been doing it for multiple months and haven't really changed it too much since then. So right here, this is kind of the like very unorganized section because it changes daily. So right here on the passenger seat, I always have my school bag because obviously I'm using that every day. I also keep my clothes bag right here. As far as clothes go, I have probably enough clothes to where I could switch clothes every day for 2 weeks and have enough change of clothes for that. And that's like shorts, t-shirts. Obviously it's going to change when the weather changes, but shorts, t-shirts. And then I have this extra separate box for socks and underwear, makes that organization easier. And then all this stuff that's laying loose right here is like, I call it like miscellaneous clothes and stuff like that, where it's like flannels, sweatshirts, stuff that I'm not wearing necessarily in like an everyday type of thing, but I can be like, oh, I need my long johns right here, for example. I always know they're going to be there. I can grab them, toss them on. I wear those a lot around camp, and this shirt as well. This is a heck of a camp shirt. But stuff like that, like rain jackets even, something like that. Always lays here loose. Looks super trashy, but that's just the way I like it. What can I say? Down here where the socks and the underwear are as well, I have stuff like sunscreen and bug spray. Currently also have my knife down here. Just kind of some random stuff that I know is down there. It's an easy place to toss stuff like that. If I do ever need to deliver someone in this passenger seat, I would probably be able to throw everything just right in the back into the back side of the passenger side and fit someone up here fairly well, even though the seat is pushed all the way forward so that it's easier to fit stuff behind the passenger seat. I don't really need to drive people around in my car very often, so it's working out. Now, over to the camp section. Another thing I'll say is that this tent is back here, and I slept in it like for a week or something in early June, and I'm just not a huge fan of sleeping on the ground, so I'm trying to more or less eliminate the tent from the equation and make this right here the primary setup. So to start off, I got these string lights right here that are running off that's one of those solar string lights that I was talking about. Got these string lights strung around this rainfly here, and then I have one strand that strings through the hammock right here, right on this ridge line for the rainfly. It lights stuff up enough for me to see when it gets dark out pretty much everything on this table fairly well, and it's bright enough that I actually have to turn it off every night because it actually keeps me awake because it's right in front of my face. Right here, very essential thing, obviously. It's another thing that I take for granted being on this property. I have access to water and a freezer to where I can freeze ice for my cooler as well. But I have this 6 or 7 gallon container of water that I fill. I don't really ever fill it all the way full. I probably put 4 gallons in it every 3 or 4 days, something like that. I have to obviously use it for cooking and drinking, washing dishes, stuff like that, brushing my teeth, all the essential stuff. You're obviously using a lot of water, but using way less water than I would being in a house. As far as showers go, I get asked that a lot. I do also have access to a shower here on the property. I have some friends that live in town that I can use, and then I also have facilities at school since I'm still a student to where I can use showers at school as well. I stay clean, don't worry. The hygiene is actually pretty good for being living outside. Right here is my sleeping situation. The hammock, I sleep in it pretty consistently, and hammocks are really comfortable, but it definitely gets at your back a little bit. All summer it was really comfortable. I want to continue it through the fall until it gets like way too cold to sleep in it. But I think I'll be pretty comfortable sleeping down to around 20 degrees in this hammock. I have my 20 degree sleeping bag. I have a giant like comforter in here. So here's the comforter. The comforter is clearly going to be a very essential thing for staying warm when it starts dipping down into the like 30s. I've done some nights in the upper 40s, like high upper 40s, and I've actually woken up sweating. So I have the sleeping bag, the comforter, I have a little fleece blanket that I use, and then I also have that sleeping pad that I said was down there that I can put down for extra insulation. Right now it's actually been pretty warm this week, so I don't have the sleeping pad in there, but with the pad and the comforter and the sleeping bag and the extra blanket, I think you can sleep in some pretty dang cold stuff. We'll see. I'm willing to try it out. Got this towel right here. I kind of just keep some type of towel up here so I can wash my face and hair and stuff like that in this little out of this little water jug. Sounds weird, but it works really well. Here's my stove. I have this actually awesome little stove. I wish I could read what the company was for that stove, but oh, here, maybe it is. Nah, they don't label their stuff well enough. Oh well. This is an awesome stove. It was really cheap. It was like $20 or something, and I use it daily for sure. I've had it since like March, and I have zero complaints about it. I buy these are 230 gram containers of gas. I bought 4 in early July, and I've only gone through 1, and then this is my second one. I've only been on it for a month and a half, or a week and a half or something like that. So they're not using very much gas at all out of these stoves, and I use it for coffee and oatmeal in the mornings, and then I just cook dinner on it. Actually right here I have this little cast iron. I made some little soy patties or something like that, little burritos. This is the cooler I'm running. It's a Lifetime brand cooler. Basically, I guess you could kind of call it like an off-brand Yeti, but it doesn't cost an absurd amount of money. I think it was $115 for a 55 quart cooler. awesome cooler. Works super well. I usually run, I would say 4 days or so, run enough ice in there. You could probably pack it way more full of ice, but I don't really know how to explain how much ice I'm putting through there, but every 4 days or so I'm switching stuff out, and I'm just refreezing stuff in the freezer that I have access to here. So I don't have to go buy extra ice. I have ice packs and freeze water bottles and stuff like that work really well for ice packs. Over here, some other stuff that I use pretty much every morning, so I just kind of keep it on the table. Got like the speaker and coffee. This little water pot thing right here, that's what I boil my water in for cooking. Peanut butter, super essential. This little baggie is what I keep my gas and then the stove inside of this box inside of, so I can have my entire cooking setup in one bag. And then so just some trash. So I'm going to move over to the back side here and show you what I just set up somewhat recently, which is a solar panel, which I should be able to run absolutely everything that I need to run off of it, and probably really never have to worry about running out of power. So I have this Everstart Marine deep cycle battery. Wasn't really that expensive. I think it was $82 for that. I have this new power inverter I bought. It's a 500 watt power inverter. That was $35 or something like that. Have it all running down, and then this is all stuff that was included in the solar panel kit, which is Top Solar. Relatively super cheap. I've only actually had it up for like a couple days, but it was super easy to set up and cheap, and it's working really well so far. So no complaints there. I would actually really suggest buying that. It was $130 for this panel back here, which is a 100 watt panel. I have it run out right now to probably the sunniest section up here. It could be better, but I'm really only ever going to run like phone charger, computer chargers, camera chargers, maybe like a light at some point, but I kind of doubt it. Pretty much anything that I need to consistently charge, I now have access to power, and it kind of opens up a lot of opportunities for me to be able to do more stuff up here and not have to worry about running stuff out of power. It's really nice for especially being in classes. I can do more stuff while I'm actually up here. I don't think I really mentioned the rainfly very much, but the rainfly comes in super handy, clearly. Keeps me dry. I've slept through 2 tropical storms now and woken up completely dry. It also kind of traps some heat, which hasn't been great for the summer, but I think as it gets colder and colder, it actually traps heat up in the top of the rainfly. It should be able to keep me even extra warm. So it's going really smoothly up here. I'm absolutely loving it. I think it's a super fun way to live, and I think while I'm young, why not do it, really? Saving a lot of money and having a heck of a time doing it. I hope I didn't really miss anything. If you have questions, obviously comment below. Ask questions. If you have suggestions, comment those below as well. But other than that, thanks for watching.